we need to perform the segmentation before we do the co-registration. So if we want to do the co-registration between MRI and the EEG or MEG, we have to first do the segmentation of the MRI images. And further to that, we will perform a co-registration with or without FEM and BEM head models. If you need more accuracy, you can use FEM and BEM head models. Yes. So here we go. Let us start new segmentation. And we just continue with the next. Here we can continue with the FEM or BEM, but we don't do that as of now, just to save time. If you have already downloaded the MRI example set, which has been shared, you can load the T1 data. We can load the DICOM, we can load the MRI in DICOM format or else a Nifty format or else analyze format. T1 weighted images. Press next. And here you can navigate to the region, to the location where you have downloaded this MRI underscore PB underscore 2010 underscore 09 underscore 29. So this is the MRI which has been shared with you already in DICOM format. So you can choose any one of them, double click on them, or else you can click one of them and then press open. It will take all those files together. And here we see what are all the details of this. So here we see patient name as QC and the series description as brain 3D bug, etc. If you want to anonymize the MRI, you can do that over here. By clicking here, you can change the name and date of birth if you want to anonymize it. Now I continue with next. So here we will see how to do the ACPC. We will mark the anatomical landmarks and proceed. So here we have three panels. On the left, it shows the workflow overview. Which step in the workflow are we in? In the middle panel, we see the MRI images and the interaction window. And on the right side, we see indications that give you indications on simple hints like what you need to do. So here we see that the step is that of set AC, anterior commissure. So here, if you look at this lower third image, you can see an extension coming over here. And when we click on that, on the first lower image, you can see there are a bundle of fibers, white matter fibers that connect left hemisphere and right hemisphere. So you need to have a crosswire at the middle of it. And then press set AC or else next or else space. All will cover with that. So you can see that this crosswire is at the middle of these fibers that are connecting left hemisphere to the right hemisphere. As I go next, and now I need to rotate. We need to rotate in a way that both the transverse and the coronal planes are symmetric over the vertical lines. You can do that by rotating like this. In certain MRIs, you might get a slightly tilted image, and here you can correct it by rotating it. So once your rotation is set, on the lower third image, you can rotate it. You can see just above this pons, just above this midbrain, you can see a small structure coming up over here. So that needs to be in line with the horizontal red marker as I do that. See here? That can be done by clicking and dragging it. When that is done, then we have marked the rotation correctly. Please ensure that in the second and in the first images, the images on the left and right to the vertical line is symmetrical. Once that is done, press next. Now we need to set the posterior commissure. You can set the posterior commissure in a way that this crosswire coincides at the beginning of the structure above the midbrain. And that you can see in the first image, the anterior commissure and the posterior commissure aligned properly. We go for next. And next. So here we need to, as you see on the third plane, it is very clearly mentioned what is the required step here. Set anterior plane. So for that, we need to navigate with a cross wheel mouse. So it is advised to use a mouse with this rolling wheel. Mouse with wheel here. So here we need to set the plane in which you first see the brain structure coming. So if you look at here, you can see that. So this task, though it might seem long now, is hardly takes a minute or two, that's all, with practice, yes. So once you set this, next we go to the posterior plane, and there you can still use your scroll wheel of the mouse to set the structure of the brain that first becomes visible as you enter from the back side of the head. Once this is set correctly, you can just press set posterior plane. Then again, for the superior plane, you can navigate and choose the structure of the brain that first becomes visible. You can check all the three that there are no brain structures above this horizontal line. I press next. Then inferior plane. One thing about the inferior plane is that the cursors needs to be set on the brain structure that comes above. Though we cut a certain part of it, we need to we need to ensure that our line is aligning to the upper structure of the brain. Because sometimes you can see that left and right, one of them is slightly tilted and up. So we need to take the upper one. In this case, no issues. It's perfectly fine MRI. So I click next, or IP, inferior plane. Next, lateral side. So we set this plane. There are no other structures which are coming beyond this vertical line. I press next. And finally, the left most plane. Yes. And now we need to ensure that all the brain, you can scroll over here and then you can see that all the brain structure is within this blue box that you see here. Then press next. Now we need to mark the Nacian and the fiducial points. Nacian over here. Next is Inian. Just over the skin. Next is the brainstem marker, which can be placed here. So we can mark around 3 to 5 markers. Next is the cutting plane. The left side will take it up or down, and the other one would slide at an angle. So here we have set everything correctly. Please ensure that this line does not intersect any other points like this. Yes. I go for next. And next we get a pop-up asking whether we should start automatic finalization of the segmentation. The program does everything that is required. Please press OK, and it will continue with the rest of the steps. So we see very beautifully how the cortex is segmented in the middle panel. So we also do see that the head is very clearly modeled. And here you can see the results. Perfect. So now we can click on finish if you are also doing, and if you already got the finish button, and save with the suggested name. I will rewrite this.